Hey VC, it's Joel coming at you from Planet 13, and this is my January vinyl haul. It's a lot bigger than normal because I picked up most of these in December. In Canada, we have a lot of big sales at the Christmas season. You probably have it in America too, or around the world. But in Canada, we have a lot of huge sales where vinyl is like 30 to 40% off, and you just cannot resist picking things up. I'm going to just show my more common albums first, and then I'll do more in-depth top-down with some more vinyl that, you don't commonly see. So let's get started here. My first album is the Ramones, their debut album. Picked this up for a pretty good deal, under 20 bucks. Love this album. I've had it on cassette and tape or CD for decades. So it's nice to finally have on vinyl. And not much really to say about this. We're all familiar with this one, I think. So I'll move on to the next album, which you're going to mock me for because this is the first time I've heard this album. I know I should have heard this like when I was 16 or in my teens, but I finally got around to listening to it. I didn't listen to it in the past because when I was in high school, I was like a punk rock, heavy metal kid. And the people who liked this album were kind of just really snobby. They were always like looking down on me because I liked Alice Cooper, Kiss, the Ramones, and they're like, yeah, we don't want to talk to you. So I just kind of got away from this album, and then I finally gave it a listen, and it's awesome. It is Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. It was a really good price, gatefold album, sounds amazing. Again, it was under 20 bucks. I usually see it for like around 30 in Canada, so it was nice to get for a good price, and as soon as I started playing it, I got why this is awesome. And I loved it. I listened to it like 5 times in a row. I can't get enough of this album. The same day, I also picked up Pink Floyd's The Wall. I've only heard this one once. I don't like it as much as Dark Side at the moment. I'm not saying I won't. At the moment, it was hard to digest, I guess. There's just a lot there. It's a double album. And I remember like when I heard the White Album from the Beatles, like that just kind of grabbed me, but this one didn't. And I think it will eventually. I will give it more time. I've only heard it once. I got it like 5-6 weeks ago. I need to play it again. I need to listen to it. I need to focus on it. But yeah, finally have 2 Floyd albums in my collection. I will plan on getting more. There's a lot of great Floyd out there, and I need to have it. So next album I got is, it's an EP. So it is just 4 songs by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. And it's got Jubilee Street, Distant Sky, From Her to Eternity, and the Mercy Sea, It's All Live in Copenhagen. Not much. It just comes on simple black sleeve with some lyrics. Nothing on the back but black. Inside it's black. Overall, really good. Kind of short though, of course, being 4-track live EP. But recommended if you're a Nick Cave fan. Then I picked up Kissworld by The Best of Kiss. So I've seen this before, won't say much about it. It's a mix of classic and modern Kiss. And I think it's got really good coverage. Like even I think there's some songs off Sonic Boom and Monsters. And yeah, you get pretty much a song off every album almost. Not exactly, but it's close. It's a good representation. Great album. I'm enjoying this one a lot. Again, another album I've never had, but I finally got. It's Aladdin Sane by David Bowie. I'm more of a fan of his Berlin trilogy than his kind of Ziggy Stardust era. Not to say I don't like the Ziggy Stardust stuff. I'm just more familiar with the Berlin stuff. Only heard this once. This is a gatefold. Great album though. Like, I love it. Only heard it once. Gotta listen to it more. Again, you're going to mock me for my bad taste, but I got the Melrose Place soundtrack album. This is just classic 90s. I don't know if you can read that. You got Amy Mann, Urge Overkill, Sam Phillips. You got the Divinals. You got, it's just, you got that song Here and Now by, who is it now? Letters from Cleo. You got James, Paul Westerberg, Annie Lennox, Fronte. And this came on a colored vinyl, which surprised me. I didn't expect that because it was like 16 bucks Canadian, which is like 12 American dollars. like a transparent color. Really cool. Comes with a nice little insert where you can see the cast of the band, and it's surprising that I know like their names and the actors who play them, even though I haven't watched Melrose Place in over 20 years. I wouldn't say I was a huge fan growing up, but I did watch it regularly because it was on after 90210 on Wednesday evenings, and yeah, I guess I watched it in my teens, so it left an imprint in my mind. And then the final album I picked up that I'm going to show quickly is The Fly. It's a soundtrack by Howard Shore. Great soundtrack, phenomenal soundtrack. Again, this was relatively affordable. Sometimes soundtracks cost a lot of money. This was under, it was like 15 American dollars. Comes on like fog green. So pretty cool. No inserts or nothing. And I like the original artwork for this. I love the film. I like the score. So I'm a happy camper. That's all I'm going to show for the quick views. And now I will get into the top-down views of some more in-depth albums that I picked up. So first up, we have the Friday 13th Part 2 vinyl from Waxtrax. And it comes in a nice little gatefold. You got some creepy artwork there with Jason looking at his next victim. And then, the back has got that sinister image of Mrs. Voorhees' head. So, yeah, kind of cool. And then this came on a splattered kind of transparent blue and white vinyl. So rather interesting overall. And this was a repress for 2019. I think it was originally pressed probably around 2016-17. Next up, we have the Friday 13th Part 3 vinyl. And this was again by Waxwork Records. And this comes in a lenticular cover. So it's kind of a 3D effect. Not as obvious on video, but in person, you can see it a lot better. Very cool. Sold out rather quickly. This was a 2019 reissue. I bought it in October, or I pre-ordered it, and it arrived just after Christmas. And then, yeah, you get that creepy gatefold with Jason holding a severed head, and he is unmasked. And then on the back, you have the famous canoe scene, along with like a splatter kind of drippy red blue vinyl. So this is rather cool. This was on my want list for a while. It was a whale. They had the pre-orders and I picked it up pretty quick because this is kind of why I got into vinyl collecting, is for soundtracks like this. I'm not like a huge Friday 13th fan. I guess I am. I've seen all the movies. I don't really rewatch the movies. I just like this score because it has the disco Jason theme, and I like all the scores. They just kind of bring me back to a time when I was a young kid watching these kind of crazy movies. But I did pick up Friday 13th Part 6 as well. So again, this is pretty cool cover art with the lightning. Then you got Jason on the camper there and his mask. Artwork is done by Ghoulish Gary, who lives in my home city as well. So that's kind of cool. In October of 2019, I went to a Comic-Con in Hamilton where I live, and I met the director and the actor who played Jason, who signed a photo for me. And I met one of the actors in the movie who plays Tommy Jarvis. So that was really cool. The director is actually, he has a book out, and I read the book after I met him. But I realized he was in a band in the late 60s, early 70s, and his band, well, they toured with, they didn't tour, but they played shows with The Doors and the Alice Cooper band, but it was Alice Cooper when they were known as the Spiders. The director, he would have been like 17, 18 at the time, and he has some pretty good Doors stories in the book. He's got one or two, and he's got a nice Jimi Hendrix story in the book as well. A rather nice person. I just walked up to meet him. He's like, hey, you want a picture? And then I was like, hell yeah. And yeah, this comes on splattered vinyl as well. Part 6 is probably my favorite of the franchise because it's got a lot of heart. It makes you care about the characters. Yeah, it's full of comedy and nods to Universal Horror classic movies. Another lenticular album cover I got is for Soundgarden. So this is a rather cool, lenticular cover. And then you have, a nice little gatefold there. And along with that, it comes on to vinyl. And then this comes with an etching. You can't really see it that well here. You mostly see me in the reflection, but really getting into Soundgarden again. Everyone thought they were kind of a lock-in for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but yeah, they didn't make it in this year. And this album's Badmotorfinger. I don't think I mentioned that. And next up, I got the soundtrack to End of Days. When you think of like 2001, this is the album to think of. So the reason I really bought this is because it has a Guns N' Roses track on it that's nowhere else, not on any of their albums. This is post/Guns N' Roses. Probably my least favorite Guns N' Roses song there is, but might grow on me. And then you got Limp Bizkit, Everlast, Korn, Rob Zombie, Eminem, Powerman 5000, Sonic Youth, and Creed, and a few other bands I've never really heard of. Really cool packaging on this. It was a double LP. Really good price I picked it up for. It was about like 16 American dollars. 2 LPs. So it also comes with this etching on the back cover. And yeah, I guess it's kind of got Arnold's silhouette. Kind of mirrors the back cover. Here is like the album packaging of the year. It's With Teeth by 9 Inch Nails. The packaging on this is phenomenal. You pay a little more for this album, but it's worth every penny, as it comes with a lot of bells and whistles that, kind of might even go over your head the first time. You have to kind of like Wikipedia things to see, certain secrets to this album. So it comes with a nice little lyric sheet and such with some interesting graphics. This actually folds out into a poster. I didn't want to fold it out. I wouldn't be able to do it on camera, but you're only seeing half of it. You're not seeing the bottom half when I pull the bottom half out. What's even cooler is it comes with this nice booklet. It's rather thick, not huge, but I think it's about 8 pages. It's got a lot of interviews with Trent Reznor, what was going through his head during the time. And then it's got like a modern kind of review of it and just the general scene of 9 Inch Nails when he released this, how he was dealing with his grandmother's death and such. Also came with a digital download. So yeah, a lot going on with this. I wish more albums had this much detail when they were released. And the music on this album's quite awesome too. I think I might even like it better than the Downward Spiral. I don't know why. Downward Spiral has a lot, probably better songs, but I think cohesively, I like this better from track to track. My favorite 9 Inch Nails album to date though would have to be Broken. And then here we have a Rob Zombie live album. This is my 3rd Zombie live album. The last one I had to get. I'm trying to get all the Rob Zombies and White Zombies on vinyl. So at first I was disappointed in this gatefold because I'm like, okay, he's got such a colorful show. Why is he showing this as a gatefold? And I was kind of like, not depressed, but just like, man, this kind of sucks. But then I saw this insert and I'm like, oh yeah, here's the color. So yeah, this insert's rather cool. Just gives you a good representation of what's going on in his show. Lots of color. Lots of fire, lots of pyro, lots of, vivid imagery, because that's what a Rob Zombie show is about. And, there's the back of the pamphlet too, and then the back of the album. Not much to say about this. You get a lot of tracks. It's obviously been doctored. When you see Rob Zombie live in concert, I don't think he sings half the lyrics. You just hear, yeah, a lot. At least that's my experience. But this album, it does sound pretty good. It's like he's gone back in the studio and he's recorded the lyrics to it. And then you got your custom labels there. Pretty good package overall. This album is like an old pair of jeans for me. This is the first cassette I ever bought. I bought a Sony Walkman and this album with my first paycheck with my real job. This is Alice Cooper's Trash. And this is the first time I have it on vinyl. I've had it on CD. It's not my favorite Alice Cooper by any means, but it's one I have memorized front to back. I put this on. I know what song's coming on. It's on like this nice black and gray vinyl, rather cool. And yeah, this just brings back a lot of memories. Again, this is kind of his like hair metal phase. It was his second big hit with Poison. Like it's the second time he got a #1 hit since School's Out. And yeah, I love this album. It's got a lot of guest stars on it. You got Steven Tyler and Bon Jovi guest starring on a couple songs. And it's just a great album for me. Again, it's not like my most recommended Alice Cooper album because it is kind of dated, but for me, it's just perfect. I love it. Here's the first ever Thin Lizzy album I've ever bought on any format, and this is Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy. I guess this one has the most popular songs on it. So you got Jailbreak, The Boys Are Back in Town, Cowboy. Those were the only 3 songs I was familiar with, and those are the only 3 songs, I guess, aside from Whiskey in the Jar, that I knew from Thin Lizzy. This has got like a nice like cutout cover, which I liked. It's rather cool. So when you slide it out, that you get the cartoon insert. And this is a recent reissue by Universal Music. And I think it arrived in the mail last week. I've only played it once. I know a lot of people love Thin Lizzy. I know there's a lot behind the singer who passed away in the mid 80s. Phil Lynott, if I'm saying that right. They're like a British band, so I guess they really weren't played a lot here in Canada. Nor, I don't know if they're that popular in America, but they're someone I want to get more into, and I plan on picking up more of their reissues. Probably I'll get Bad Reputation next, or Fighting, as those were recently reissued. Another soundtrack for you is Pontypool. This is like a 2008 Canadian movie. It's like a zombie movie, but it's got a different take on zombies where the virus is controlled by sound. So you're infected by noise. It's like an ear virus. And it's only like 3 actors in the movie. It takes place in a radio station. And the leads are phenomenal in this. They really carry the movie. There's a lot of humor in it. It's from the director called Bruce McDonald. He directed one of my favorite movies called Hardcore Logo. So yeah, this is on a nice gatefold. Since it's a score, there's no lyrics or nothing. But it's got a nice little write-up on the score there. And then, it comes on this, I guess, like a pink vinyl with a custom label. And it comes off with a little sheet of paper, really thin, a map of Pontypool, which is a real place in Canada. And this movie was based on a novel. I should read the novel at some point because I did enjoy the movie quite a lot. So next up I have Iron Maiden El Vivo live album. This is my second live album. I have the Book of Souls one. And yeah, this is 3 LP. It was very inexpensive. I got it for about 18 American dollars. So it comes on 3 LPs and you get a lot of songs here. They mostly play songs from the Final Frontier. I think there's like 8 songs or something. I can't remember. A good proportion. I don't have that album. It's a lot more money than this, I'll tell you. This one on sale, relatively cheap. 3 LPs. I had to pick it up. I'm not like the hugest live album fan, but these are nice to have. And I'm trying to complete my Iron Maiden collection. I still have a lot to go to get. They're just rather pricey and they sometimes go on sale. So I wait till they're on sale. So yeah, nice custom sleeves. I gotta get some anti-static sleeves though to replace these with when I do pull out the albums. And yeah, good packaging. Not a gatefold, unfortunately, but in this case, I don't mind. I do prefer gatefolds, but fine with 3 version gatefolds. The middle album, it's always sliding out on me. It's a pain. It's hard to get in sometimes. So I kind of like this format. It's just easy to get back in and out of the packaging. And then the final album I picked up, it's like the Damned. The band. It's a 4 album greatest hits package. So it's pretty comprehensive, with 4 discs. Well, there's a lot on here. I don't have any Damned albums. I was only familiar with New Rose, Shake It Up, and the song they have off the Return of the Living Dead soundtrack, which I always liked. They're a gothic kind of punk band. I can't really say much about the band without embarrassing myself, but man, did I enjoy this. I've only heard it once. My favorite track has to be Curtain Call, I think it's called. Yeah, it's a long song, and man, it is phenomenal. It just impressed the heck out of me. So you get this nice insert. It's kind of like a band family tree. And then you get a nice picture on the back. And then everything, comes in custom, heavyweight kind of sleeves. So you get the 4 albums and it's on gold vinyl. And there's a lot to digest on this album too. Again, I've only heard it, maybe 1.5 times because I played a few sides twice. But yeah, I eventually would like to get their individual albums. They just are rather pricey where I live. So that wraps up my January haul. So until next time, cheers.